Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. So welcome back to the latest video on UHL2422 English for Technical Communication. So in this video, I'm going to give you a briefing regarding your final assessment, which is Assessment 3A Recommendation Report. And this assessment carries 30% of your overall marks. Okay, so the learning outcome for this assessment is to produce a recommendation report using appropriate language expressions and format. So the instructions given here, you have to read the instructions carefully. You need to submit the report by 28 January 2022 on Friday. So the one stated here, 21st January, it is not latest one or the updated version. So you need to submit the report in our Google Classroom by the 28th of January 2022. Okay, for the instructions, you have to listen carefully. So this assessment requires you to work in groups of 4 or 3 for odd numbers class. So if I'm not mistaken, our class consists of 28 students. So therefore, we are going to have 7 groups. So you need or you are given the freedom to choose your group members, and each group should consist of 4 group members. Since that there are 28 of us, so you have to divide yourself equally into 7 different groups, and each group will consist of 4 group members. Right, so you will be assigned to one of the following scenarios. So in this context, I'm going to give you the list in our Telegram group. You just edit the list by stating your group members' full name, okay, all 4 of you, together with the metric number, okay, and then it is going to be like 7 groups, and I'm going to randomly pick the scenario according to your number. So it is not like scenario 1 for group number 1, but I'm going to like jumble up, okay, all of the 10 scenarios over here, and then you are going to be randomly assigned to the scenario. So for your information, if you go through the question paper, there are 10 scenarios altogether, okay, and you are going to have the scenario given to you randomly. So I'm going to show you an example for scenario number 1 over here. So what is the scenario? An issue due to malfunctioning of equipment has occurred at your company's construction site. So you know by now, you are working at a construction company and you are having a project. And then one of the equipments is not working. So that is the situation at that moment. As a technical consultant team for your company, so you are part of the technical consultant team, your manager has requested your team to investigate and find out solutions to rectify the problem. So you need to identify what is the problem, what causes the problem, and how are you going to solve the problem. So present to your company 2 new solutions and recommend the better one. So remember that it is a construction site, okay, since that your company is measuring or focusing on construction. So, and you are having a not working or not functioning equipment at the site. So in this context, okay, perhaps let's say you are going to give 2 suggestions. Okay, the first suggestion, I mean like you're going to have the similar suggestion, but you have 2 options. So the equipment that is not working is the cement mixer. Okay, so cement mixer is not working, so you are going to give a recommendation to buy a new one. So you have 2 options, machine A and machine B. And by having the comparison between both machine, you're going to recommend to your manager which one is going to be the most suitable machine that you are going to propose for the company to buy. Okay, all right. So all scenarios are going to have different kind of situation. So once you are assigned to a particular scenario, please discuss among your group members. And then if you need further clarification, you can always ask me about it. But don't worry, because next week when it comes to our class session on Monday and also on Wednesday, I'm going to also discuss back about these scenarios so that each group will have a clearer understanding of what you are supposed to do. Okay, right, so there are 10 scenarios altogether over here. Okay, number 3. Instruction number 3. Based on your chosen scenario, discuss in groups and propose a report draft for your instructor's approval in week 12. So next week, the first meeting, which is on Monday, we are going to discuss about all of the scenario. I'm going to assign the scenario to you, inshallah, within this weekend. And then by next week, we're going to have a look at the scenario. And you're going to start working in your group and try to propose a report draft. So what are the things that you need to include for the report draft? I'm going to show it to you afterwards. Once the report draft is approved, you need to produce a point-by-point recommendation report following these criteria. You need to have 4 points of comparison. And then the number of pages for the recommendation report should be within 5 to 7 pages, excluding the cover page, references, and appendices. Alright. Use A4 size times New Roman font size 12, 1.5 spacing, and justified text alignment. So I'm going to show you the example afterwards. How are you going to justify the text? Label the tables above the table, and if you're going to have the figures, you need to label it below the figures. You need to include in-text citations using at least 3 references in APA 7th style edition. Alright, so you need to have in-text citation. How are you going to have it? Of course, when it comes to the information that you are taking from other sources. When you are explaining or describing about the machines, for example, you are going to have the information taken from other sources, and in this context, you cannot simply take it just like that. You need to paraphrase or summarize the information, and do not forget to put in-text citation so that we know that you are taking the information from other sources. Right, before the submission date, you need to submit your report to Turnitin to avoid any form of plagiarism. So I'm going to give you further information regarding this, and we are going to do similar like what we had done in our first assessment, whereby all groups, okay, for the final assessment there will be 7 groups. So all groups, okay, all 7 groups are going to compile, okay, all of the reports. One of you is going to be the representative, okay, to collect and compile all of the 7 groups, and then you are going to email it to me, and I will upload it to Turnitin, and I will generate the similarity index report. So marks will be deducted for the report that contains more than 15% in the similarity report. For your information, this is quite different from the first assessment, whereby you are not going to be given the second chance to redo your recommendation report if your similarity index report is more than 15%. So it is only a one go kind of approach, and make sure that your recommendation report is lesser than 15%. I will help you and guide you on how to make sure that your similarity index report will be lesser than 15%. Don't worry about that, okay? So in our class next week, inshallah, I'm going to give you the input or the information how you are going to do it. Okay, or maybe in the following week. So when you are preparing the recommendation report, you need to use the following memorandum format to write your report. So you need to have the company logo. You can just create it, or you can take from other sources. The contact details. This is the name, technical memorandum. Okay, for to whom you are going to send the memo to. So the name and the designation. From, name of the group leader, and also the designation. So there are 4 of you. In this context, you just need to put the name of your group leader in the memorandum. The date, the subject, and these are the arrangement for your recommendation report. So it should start with the introduction. What is going on at this moment? What is the problem? What is the purpose of the report? The options that you have, and the points of comparison. So in this context, you need to have 4 points of comparison. Maybe you're going to talk about the cost, the maintenance, the warranty, and other matters, for example. Then, point number 2, you're going to highlight about the statement of requirements, the discussion, point by point comparison, and lastly, you're going to have the recommendation by firstly summarizing the information, and then you are going to give the recommendation between buying maybe machine A better than machine B because of the reasons that you have given earlier. You need to also have the references. So this is for in-text citation. So remember that you need to cite at least 3 references using APA 7th edition. So 3 references should be taken from 3 different resources. And appendices, in this context, maybe you're going to include some information taken from the website perhaps, or maybe tables, or maybe a short manual, for example. For the submission, these are the guidelines. You need to make sure your recommendation report consists of the following. A, the assessment cover page. For the assessment cover page, you can go to this page and this is how it looks like. So this is the assessment cover page. Next, you need to also have the report cover page. I will show it to you afterwards. The example of a report cover page. Table of contents. So you need to number the pages that you have, 5 to 7 pages, for example. The report, a list of references should be put in a different fresh page. Appendices will also be your Turnitin Similarity Index report, and it should also be in a separate page. Upload all documents earliest on 26 January 2022. Okay, ignore the date stated here, and latest by 28 January 2022. Any late submission will not be evaluated. In this context, when you are going to submit the report, please make sure that only one submission is required from each group. So there are 4 of you in this group. There will be only one submission. So in Assessment 3 tab or link in Google Classroom, I will be expecting only 7 submission. Okay, so you need to save the files in PDF version using the file name formats here. Of course, it is stated here that you can save it in docx document, but I prefer for you to save it in PDF version, because when you are using table, figures, and maybe images, it will not be distorted. So please save the document, the report, which is the recommendation report, to your desktop or your laptop in PDF version, and then you upload or submit the work in Google Classroom. Right, so you need to name the file according to this information. Section underscore group number, the name of the leader and the metric ID, assessment 3, semester 1, 2021-2022, and the number of the scenario assigned to you. So this is an example of how you are supposed to do it. Okay. Right, next, this will be the marking scheme. And how are we going to award you the marks are stated here. So you will know how do we award you the marks accordingly. Right, so this is about the question paper. Remember that next week, you and your group members, you are supposed to discuss about the report draft. Okay, right, so the report draft over here can also be taken from column under week 10, or sorry, week 11 actually. Okay, so once your report draft has been approved, then you can start working on your final version of the recommendation report. So this is the report draft topic approval template. So this is for assessment 3 recommendation report topic approval. So you may write the details in only point forms. So you don't have to write it in the full sentences. So this is the report draft. Once it is approved, then you can proceed to writing the full version of the recommendation report. And the full version of the recommendation report should be written in the full sentences. Section 13P, your group members, 4 of you, the name and also the ID number. Scenario number, let's say it is number 1, so you put it number 1. So the first point, which is on the introduction, 1.1 background of current situation. So in point form, you just briefly explain what is going on, okay, at this moment. So you can say that your company is working or is working on a project, and suddenly one of the machine is not working or having a failure to work. Right, that will be the current situation. And of course, okay, you have the example that you can refer to in column on writing about background of current situation. 1.2 statement of the problem. So what is the problem actually? Okay. 1.3 options and points of comparison or criteria. So in this context, you just need to fill in this table. Okay, option A, what is the name of the machine? Option B, what is the name of the machine? Points of comparison or criteria over here, as it is stated in the question paper, you need to put it into 4 points of comparison or criteria. It can be about the cost, it can be about the maintenance, it can be about the warranty, and maybe it can also be about other matters. Next, statement of requirements. For this part, you can also refer to the handouts given in column. The discussion, so criteria 1, 2, 3, and 4. Option 1, meaning that machine A. Option 2, machine B. So if you're talking about the first criteria, which is on the cost, so you just put the price in option 1 or machine A, how much does it cost for the company to purchase the new machine, and option B, how much will it cost for the company to do the purchasing part. So once you have completed this report draft, you need to give it to me. I'm going to go through it, and then I will give my suggestion and feedback, and also approval at the same time. Once the report draft is approved, you can proceed preparing for your full version of recommendation report. Okay, now I'm going to show you the last thing that you need to refer to, which is on, let me check on it. Okay, this is the sample of a recommendation report. Okay, this one prepared by your seniors. Okay, so as you can see, this is the cover page, the assessment cover page. Do not forget to put in your ID number and your metric number, your full name as well. Okay, section. So this is just an example, and this is not to be given to you, but you can just have a look at it. Okay, right. So the company that this group is working on is EcoWorld, and then this is the contact details. All right. So this is the assessment cover page. The report cover page will be this one. So it is like using a letterhead paper. Okay, this is the letterhead paper, and you are working on the recommendation report. So this is the logo of the company, technical memorandum, the title of this recommendation report, by technical consultant, okay, the name of the group leader, and also the design team, the name of the other group members. So this information, it is not fixed because it depends on the scenario that you are going to work on. So this is the assessment cover page. It is given to you. This is the report cover page. Okay, so the name of the company that you are working on, okay, or working with, it is not fixed. In this context, they are assuming that they are working with EcoWorld. So maybe you are working in a different company, for example, like Sapura Kencana or Petronas, that kind of big name. Okay, right, and then this is how it looks like. Technical memorandum, the introduction, which consists of 1.1 background of current situation, statement of problem, okay, then the purpose of the report, options, and points of comparison, statement of requirements, the discussion part, so as you can see over here, it is written in the full sentences together with in-text citation like this one. Okay, so table 1, comparison between heat prevention and noise insulated function. So this is criteria number 1, heat prevention and noise insulated. Then on the design, so this is the second criteria. So table 2, design comparison. Security feature, the third criteria. So you explain it first, then you're going to put it into a table so that we can see the comparison clearly. And the last criteria over here, service provided. You explain about it first in full sentences like this, then you transfer the important information into a table like this. So the recommendation, so this is the summary of it, whereby you summarize it in a table, and also a short explanation as well. Then lastly, you are going to have the recommendation. So from two options, machine A and machine B, for example, which one that you are going to recommend to the company to buy or purchase. So the references, right, at least 3, but if you are having more than 3, there is no problem at all. And that's it. So I hope by watching this video towards the end, you will have a clearer understanding of how you are supposed to work on your final assessment. Okay, I'm going to share the list in our Telegram group. You just need to edit the list by stating the name of your group members and together with the ID number. And I'm going to randomly assign you the scenario. So it doesn't mean that you are group number 1, you are going to do scenario number 1. It is not like that. I'm going to randomly pick the scenario for you, and you will be informed about it, inshallah, within this weekend, so that next week when it comes to the first meeting, you can know better about it. I will explain about the scenario, and then you can start preparing your report draft. Okay, right. So most of the information you can get it from Kalam. Okay, you go to week 10 under module 3 report, so you can watch and refer to the handouts over here. Right, you can also refer to this information on memorandum format and introduction, how to write statement of requirements or what to include in statement of requirements, what to include in the discussion, and how you are supposed to write for the recommendation. And if you click the sample of recommendation report here, you will have the access to an example of how a recommendation report being written. So basically, you have the access to the handouts and example of how to do it. So this week, you are supposed to actually looking at how to write the comparison, the similarities and the differences, the keyword that you are supposed to look at. You can do this comparing and contrasting exercise actually, okay, in your group and also in your own or individually. And the question paper is actually here under week 11. And this is the template for the report draft topic approval. So basically, I believe this is all from me. But next week, of course, we are going to discuss in detail about your assessment and also your scenario in case you need further assistance. So that's all from me, everyone. Thank you very much for watching the video until the end of it. Stay safe. Inshallah, we'll be meeting, okay, or in an online mode next week on Monday and Wednesday. Again, thank you very much for watching. Assalamualaikum and goodbye, everyone.